Y'all, welcome back to another Snarky in the Suburbs podcast. I can't believe this is my fourth podcast because actually I thought it would wash out after two, but yet here I am. Y'all, I've got great stuff to talk about. I've got a Dear Snarky letter. It's kind of a word of warning from someone that got married and wanted to bail, but was talked out of bailing and went through with the wedding. Kind of scary, kind of scary. Then I talk about my pet peeve, which is some loser who says they're always the devil advocate. Also, I address a couple of people have said, it sounds like you're scared of your daughter. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, yes, I am. And I will discuss why I'm scared of my daughter. Then I have a snarky confession that I'm still wavering. I might not make this confession. I'll just have to see how I feel. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, sorry. I have a runny nose and I'm still not using Kleenex. Back to using toilet paper. TMI, but after I did that confession last week or a couple days ago, I don't think there is too much TMI in my life. I think I have hit the TMI limit and decided to just jump over that limit with my poop in the pants story. Anywho, let's get to this letter. Okay, this is less of a letter and more a conversation. This woman wrote me. We've been having a lot of Dear Snarky letters about like brides that wanted to bail and they didn't bail. And so she wrote me about her situation, and then at snarkyinthesuburbs@gmail.com. And then I emailed her back and some questions. So, it was that kind of thing. I'm not going to read a letter. It's too long. I'm just going to go through the stuff she told me. So this woman is a older millennial. This happened to her a while ago when she was young. She said very young 20s. And she got engaged, dated and got engaged to her dad's business partner's son. And she said her dad really pressured her to date the business partner's son. She said they dated for about 6 months and then got engaged and were married within a year. It happened very quickly. Come to find out that this business was about to be merged, or I don't know, some big thing was going on that would make a lot of money. Her fiance's dad owned more of the company, and I guess the dad was looking for a way to, solidify his place in the company, make more money. I don't know what it is. So she started having second thoughts as soon as she got engaged. She said she really didn't want to say yes to the engagement, but it was one of those big public engagements, and she didn't feel like she could say no. I mean, she did not feel like she could say no. So she thought, I'll say yes, and then I'll say, oh, I thought about it, and no, in private. So when she went to her parents and goes, I don't know if I want to be engaged. And her parents pointed out all the reasons why she should want to be engaged and go, yeah, it's normal to feel that way. Jitters, jitters, jitters. Then about a week before the wedding, which happened very fast. So they were engaged and married within a year, or dating and married within a year. She tells her parents, she's like, I'm getting a bad feeling about this. I don't want to do it. She said she was crying herself to sleep. She didn't really want to do it. And then her mom goes, it's just jitters, just like before, honey. This happens to every bride. It happened to me. That story. You heard what happened to Princess Diana, right? She didn't want to get married. She goes, I want to call off the wedding. And her sister told her, well, your face is already on the tea towel, so you're going through with it. I mean, she really wanted to bail on the wedding, but off she went. So her parents talk her out of it. The day of the wedding, she's physically ill. She's vomiting, all this kind of stuff. Before her dad walks her down the aisle, she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get married. And her dad takes her hand and says, sweetheart, I'm telling you, it'd be easier to just walk down the aisle and have the wedding than to call it off in front of all these people. He goes, you're going to get a marriage license. Give it to me. I'll never file the marriage license. It will be like you weren't married. It will be like you were never married. I'll take care of it. Just go through this. Now, I know a lot of parents, tell their kids it's jitters and stuff like that. But her cautionary tale was brides need to listen to what the brain is telling them, what they feel. Listen. I know before I got married, before my mom sent out my wedding invitations, and I had some big old Texas wedding, and I probably knew half the people there. As friends of my parents, I never even met. But anyways, my mom invited 500 people, and I'm sure she gave my husband's mom, you can invite 6. I'm sure of it, because those two women did not get along. So anywho, before she went to the post office with this huge thing of wedding invitations, she sat my then fiance down, now husband, of course, and said, look, I'm about to take these to the post office. If either of you wants to call off the wedding, you do it right now. Do it right now. No judgment. Because once these get mailed, not only are you getting married, but you have to stay married for a year or you have to return all your wedding gifts. She goes, I don't care if you hate each other, live in separate houses. She looked at me and goes, Sherry, move home. But you're staying married for a year. My husband and I look at each other, the look that we give each other that says, this woman be cray. You know, my mom was a little crazy. And we're like, yeah, okay. I'm just like, Mom, just mail the invitations. But, you know, it was a bit of a threat. So anyways, back to right before she walks down the aisle and her dad goes, I promise you, just go through with it and then it'll be like you weren't married. And she's like, okay. So she walks down the aisle. She says, I do. She says, it was misery. It was like she was in a play. She's pledging her love to this man she knows she's not really going to be married to, okay? She has to take the pictures. She goes through the reception. She goes through the first dance. And she said, it was horrible. Then when it's time for them to leave, she goes to her parents and goes, should we get with, you know, her soon-to-be ex-husband's parents, and should we all like sit down and go, you know, we're not turning in the marriage license, this wedding's not happening. And her dad goes, you deserve that trip. Go on that trip. I'll take care of it. So she goes on the honeymoon. And I asked her, you know, an email, I go, did you like tell your husband then we're not really married? My dad's not going to turn in the marriage license and, you know, go get another room. She didn't. She said she was very young, very dumb, didn't learn how to assert herself. So gets home from the honeymoon, goes straight to her parents' house and goes, okay, so we're not married. And the dad's like, well, I didn't get the marriage license soon enough and someone else turned it in, like a big fat liar. Of course he ran and turned it in. He needed his daughter to be married because it was going to help with the business merger, whatever. So she's like really, really upset. And she's like, so I'm going to have to get a divorce. And her dad's like, just let me just pushing shit down the road until this business merger was done. So she said she was stuck in basically a loveless marriage with a guy, she said, who did not love her and did not treat her well at all. Until finally, she said she had to travel 100 miles to find a divorce attorney who wouldn't know her parents, wouldn't know her husband's parents, and start getting a divorce. When she initiated divorce proceedings and let everyone know, like when her husband was served, her parents disowned her. Huge fit, disowned her. It was a big thing. She said she moved far away, was in therapy for years, blamed herself, why did I let this happen, blah, blah, blah. And her therapist made her work through, you were basically chattel. Your dad was selling you because of a business merger to make this business merger happen. It's not your fault. You were young. She says to this day, she has not gotten remarried. She is in a relationship, but she says she never wants to get married again. I mean, she says she can't even go to a wedding. She gets PTSD going to a wedding. It was like so bad. And then to have your parents betray you like that, like your parents, her mom's at fault too, basically were like, yeah, we need our daughter to get married because we need a business merger because we'll make money off of it. Yes, this is still happening. It's not like, 1632, okay? This is 21st century and it's still happening. It was shocking and gave me chills. I'm glad she's in a relationship. She says she has learned to find her voice. Her parents are both deceased now. I asked if she ever made peace with her parents. And she said a little bit, a little bit, but they never really had a close relationship. And she felt like her parents didn't like her. And she wonders if they ever liked her based on how they treated her. But her bottom line is, if you're a bride or if you're a groom and you're like, I don't want to do this, then don't do it. Don't let somebody tell you it's nerves, it's jitters. You examine those feelings, maybe examine it with a therapist, but don't do it. And she says that's why, last podcast I talked about bridal blinders. Maybe you put on bridal blinders because you don't want to deal with the feelings you have at all. And then you get into situations where you're like, can I get this annulled? So y'all, take this information to heart. To me, it was chilling. Mainly just the parental betrayal. I mean, your parents, as a general rule, should have the best interest of their child always at the forefront. Yeah. In this case, not so much. Not so much. So, I don't know. It made me sad, but I'm glad she's found her voice. I'm glad she's in a relationship. She sounds happy, and I'm glad she's sharing her story. So there is that. Now, on to my peeve. Y'all, it is the devil's advocate. I mentioned a straight shooter was one of my last peeves. If you had an org chart, it'd be straight shooter and devil's advocate on the same line of the org chart because they're both equally grotesque. Now, I got this pet peeve. My husband goes, "Are you going to run out of pet peeves?" I'm like, "Do you know me? Do you know me?" Of course not. So the other day, I ran into a woman I used to work with years ago, and she was a devil's advocate. And I'm telling you, there's a devil advocate in every family and in every office. And she would go into every single meeting and you would say, "Okay, this is the plan. We've researched it. We're going to do this." And she would have to play the devil's advocate. Well, what if this happened? I mean, every freaking scenario under the moon. And you could take a meeting that should have been 15 minutes and it would end up being 2 hours. I mean, I wanted to reach across the conference table and shake this, like, stop. Another thing, very annoying and irritating, is the devil's advocate. They think they're doing the Lord's work because they're seeing the other side. They're letting you know what the other side is. They're pretending to be advocating for, the people not at the table. No, you're not. You're just being a huge, pot stirrer. Stirring up stuff that doesn't need to be stirred. You're stirring an imaginary pot because there's nothing in the pot. You're making up stuff to put in there because this is just a meeting and we want to get through it. I have no patience for the pot stirrer. And the pot stirrer is disguised as the devil's advocate. It was horrible. So I see her and I'm like, oh God, no eye contact. I mean, I'm like race walking away from her. "Sherry, oh Sherry." So of course I have to stop. I'm not going to ignore somebody that's, beckoning me in a public venue. So I go over and we exchange pleasantries. 3 minutes, people, and she started devil's advocating. She asked about my kids, and I go, "Oh, Bella's in California," and so she starts devil's advocating about my daughter living in California. I'm just like, okay, no one asked you. No one needs you to share your thoughts on where my daughter lives because she's a grown-ass woman. So I couldn't get away from her fast enough. I needed to do something in the store I was in. I had not done it yet. I left because I didn't want to have to run into her again. So these people are just so freaking annoying. And the fact that they think they're the righteous one because they're telling the other side or thinking about all things that could happen. No, you're not. You're just a pain in the butt and you like to hear yourself talk, which I know is the pot calling the kettle black because who has a podcast? It's me. These people, they're so peevish. They're so horrible. And the devil's advocate that every family has, no. Because in a family, there's just way too much to get into. You don't have time for a devil's advocate, okay? And most families have, thought through a lot of this stuff. Also, devil's advocates usually weigh in when they have not been invited to weigh in to the situation. So they need to back up. Can't stand it. Devil's advocate. 2 big thumbs down. That's my peeve. Now, I want to get into why some people have asked me, "Sherry, are you afraid of your daughter?" And my answer to that is always, yes. Yes, I'm afraid of my daughter. Okay, and let me explain why. In all reality, people, relax. I'm not afraid of my daughter. Hang on, I got to take a sip of a McDonald's Diet Coke. But I'm a little bit afraid of her. So when you have a daughter, something happens. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying that daughters aren't kind, brilliant, generous, amazing, just deliciousness. Okay. My daughter is all those things. I think my daughter is absolute perfection, but yes, I am afraid of her. This is what daughters do. They change you because if you're a mother of a daughter, you've seen things, you've heard things. They toughen you up because they will tell you always, without you asking, the unvarnished truth. They don't sugarcoat anything when it comes to their mother only. Their dad, it's a different thing. But when it comes to their mother, It's blunt truth and harsh reality. I'm telling you, if there was some catastrophic event that was happening and I was like made, I don't know, an organizer of an army, and it was a bunch of, Gen X women and boomers, I would say, before I did divisions within the army that I was the general of, I would say, raise your hand if you have raised a daughter. And every woman who raised their hand, I would say, go over there, go stand over there. Because those women that have raised daughters, they're tough. They are tough and they are resilient because they have survived raising a daughter. Straight out there. Of course, I have a son, and I've been told I'm not officially a boy mom because I have a son and a daughter. To be officially a boy mom, you have to have all sons. So I'm just telling you, having a son is so much easier if you're a mom. They notice nothing. I could go out to lunch with my son in like a clown wig and a clown nose, and he wouldn't notice. I mean, they just don't notice, whatever. They don't care. My daughter, she'd have some thoughts, and she would share those thoughts. I'm just telling you, being a mother of a daughter changes your brain chemistry. It makes you resilient. I had a friend, super sensitive. I mean, oh my God, this woman cared so much about what people thought and other people's opinions of her. And when she got pregnant, I literally prayed. I prayed to the good Lord above that she did not have a daughter because I didn't think she could handle it. Yeah, she is #boy mom. Prayers were answered on that one. It's just something about a mother and a daughter. Now, you could have a daughter that doesn't do this. I'm not saying all daughters are this way. I'm just saying my daughter's this way. And my mom said I was that way. She would watch me with my daughter and she would just kind of make a face like, been there, done that. So there's that. Daughters are wonderful, but they are truly honest with their mothers. My daughter's first word, of course, was dada. I mean, come on. But if I was going to guess what her first sentence was, it would be, Mom, are you going to wear that? There you go. There you go. That's what I'd have to check her baby book, but I'm certain that was probably her first full, clearly articulated sentence. So, and not only am I afraid of her a little bit, but I do exactly what she says. Because I don't know if this pains me to say it, but she is usually always right. Always. She told me I need to get on TikTok about 2 years ago. I go, I don't want to get on TikTok. I'm barely on Facebook. Sure, I have an Instagram account, but it's so curated. You have to be beautiful, so forget about that. And I haven't been on X, Twitter, whatever, since the 2016 election. I don't need another social media. She's like, you're getting on TikTok. So she sets me up my TikTok account. I don't know what my password is because she set it up. I don't know. And she goes, those Dear Snarky letters you do, they need to be on TikTok. Well, she was right because I've had a blast on TikTok. Then she started bugging me, you need to do a podcast. I go, I am not doing a podcast because, no, the world doesn't need me yapping anymore. Mom, you're doing it. And then I resisted, which was hard with a daughter. And then she finally said, TikTok's going away. You have to, get a podcast. So whatever. So I just do what she says because one, I'm just going to say her track record of late, 100% right. And two, I will be badgered relentlessly until I do it. The best thing about TikTok and this podcast is that she gives me critiques. So I'm the luckiest mom in the world. Critiques from a daughter. There's nothing better. Nothing better. Let me just tell you, nothing better. So no, I'm not really scared of my daughter, but I do usually do what she says because she's right. And mothers of daughters will be like, oh, hell yeah, you're right. You're right, woman. And if you're a mother without a daughter like this, love that for you. Truly, I love that for you. But daughters, they're special. They're absolutely special. But that is my daughter's story. So technically, not scared of her, but technically, I do what she says. She does have my husband just totally wrapped around her finger, which is okay because I had my dad wrapped around my finger and game recognizes game. So I'm all for it. I am totally all for it. So I like to watch the interaction and I'm sure I deserve it because I'm sure my mom had to watch me just play my dad like a fiddle. So goes around, comes around, that's for sure. Okay, now y'all, On to my snarky confession. The whole time I've been yakking my brains out, I've been thinking, should I do this confession? Should I share this? And I've decided I'm just going to do it. One of the great things about getting older is you don't care so much about what people think. I mean, you don't want people to think you're mean or, don't have a kind heart. You don't want people to think that. But in terms of everyday thoughts, you're like, whatever. It is what it is. So here's my confession. And please feel free to think less of me. I deserve your judgment and perhaps your scorn. Okay, so when I get sad, and thankfully that doesn't happen very often, I will do two things. I will immediately go to the McDonald's drive-thru and get a Diet Coke because McDonald's Diet Cokes make me happy. It's the crispiness. It's the crispiness, people. It's the syrup to carbonated water ratio that is just superb. Okay, so, and usually I try to limit my Diet Coke drinking. I don't keep sodas at home. So if I'm going to go against my Diet Coke consumption rules, I have to be really sad. Then I will go to Sephora. And you're thinking, oh, hell yeah, you go buy makeup. Woohoo, what a confession. You're a loser. No. I will go to Sephora. I will usually go when they're not crowded. So not when a bunch of teens or tweens are going to be there, buying retinol. Because, at 11, wrinkles happen. So I will go between 10 and 11, just opened 11-ish. And I will go in there and usually, they're very good about asking how they can help you. And I will usually say something like, oh, I need some skincare. They'll ask you about your routine, and then I will casually drop how old I am. And when I tell the Sephora employee without fail how old I am, she will pull or he will pull other Sephora employees over and they go, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're that old. You have fabulous skin. It is compliments coming left, right, behind me, in front. I can't keep up with the compliments. And you're saying, okay, is your skin that great? Because if you're watching on YouTube, you're thinking, girl, you got some wrinkles. Okay, the reason they think this is because I will tell them I'm in my 70s. Yes, I will lie about my age by sometimes as much as a decade. And this is why they're like, what? Woo? Woo? And it's a compliment cornucopia. Of course, I buy something because I fibbed and I feel guilty. I'll walk out of there walking on sunshine. I got a hippity hop to my step. It's the greatest thing. I walk out of there feeling so fabulous about myself. Does it matter that they think I'm a woman in my 70s? No, because right now I feel great. I feel fabulous. My only big worry, in fact fear, is that someone I know will walk into Sephora and go, Sherry, you're not in your 70s, and out me. And then I would be so shamed I could never go in that Sephora again. It would be dead to me, that Sephora. But yeah, that's what I do when I'm sad to feel better. I think it's a harmless crime. I'm buying something at Sephora. Am I fibbing? Yes. I've never told anybody this. My husband would be aghast. He'd shake his head oh God, no, not surprised. My son could care less. And I can't wait for my daughter to see what she says. Because she's a lover of Sephora. She's like, how dare you lie to the Sephora employees? Y'all, I'm just telling you to try it if you're older because you will feel great. You'll probably be like, I cannot lie like that. You know what? I didn't think I could either. But then one day it just came out and it was the feel good I needed. And I did it. Now I don't think I can do it because this is why I told you, because now I can't do it anymore because I've told people and I cannot do it. So I've outed myself as a behavioral response, so I will stop doing it. But y'all, it's a fabulous thing. It is a thing of beauty. And yeah, I feel so much better. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. But there you go. There you go. I'm not saying if you're 20, go in and say you're 40. No one's going to believe that. I have, enough aging on me that someone could believe. Wait a minute. Do they really think I'm in my 70s? Whatever. I don't care. It's worked for me. It's been the pick-me-up I've needed. And I was going to say I'm not ashamed, but I am ashamed. But there you go. That is my snarky confession. Am I doing a grift? Is it a grift to go in and do that? I don't know. I can't do it again though because I've tattled on myself and now I can no longer do it. But I'm just telling you, it's a feel-good moment and I savored it. I now, since I'll no longer be able to do it, look back on it and get a warm and fuzzy feeling all over. All over. I will, though, of course, will still be able to drink McDonald's Diet Cokes as a pick-me-up. But that's my story. And that's the podcast. And I'm sorry that you now think less of me. I apologize for that. But stay with me because I'm going to start doing Valentine's icks. I want to get into like when you know you're like a marriage is going down the tubes, terrible Valentine's days. Okay, one Valentine's, my husband gave me a dish towel. There was a scene about the dish towel, let me just tell you. Anywho, he was young. Have a great day, have a fabulous day. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everyone that's given me 5 stars. I'm not worthy, but thanks anyways. But anyways, everyone go out there and have a fabulous, fabulous day.